Hey there, welcome back to Twisted Hood. Here, we unravel the most fascinating and gripping crime stories that will keep you hooked. If you're as obsessed with true crime as we are, show some love by hitting that like button, dropping a comment, and subscribing to the channel. Trust us, you won't want to miss the twists and turns we have coming your way. In the heart of the Middle East, a country with a long-standing dictatorship bore witness to a seismic shift in its history. Syria, a land with a rich culture and ancient heritage, was under the iron grip of a family regime for 54 years. During this time, two dictators ruled successively, a father and his son. Despite decades of oppressive rule, the grip of this dynasty seemed unshakable. That is, until one fateful day in 2011, when a single line scrawled on a school wall by a 14-year-old boy set off a chain of events that would topple the regime. This is the story of how that one line, written in defiance, became the rallying cry for a revolution. In 1970, Hafez al-Assad, the commander of the Syrian Air Force, orchestrated a coup against the sitting government. Declaring himself president, he established a dictatorial regime that would last 3 decades. Hafez's rule was marked by a ruthless grip on power. Despite Syria's majority Sunni population, approximately 74%, Hafez, a member of the Alawite minority, a Shia sect comprising only 16% of the population, ensured that key government and military positions were dominated by Alawites. To suppress dissent, Hafez created an intricate network of spies and enforcers, quashing any hint of rebellion with brutal efficiency. For 30 years, he ruled with an iron fist, leveraging military might and fear to maintain control. However, time spared no one, not even Hafez. In 2000, his reign ended with his death, and the presidency passed to his son, Bashar al-Assad. Bashar, who had trained as an ophthalmologist in London, initially presented himself as a reformer, but it soon became evident that he was merely a continuation of his father's regime. For 11 years, Bashar followed the same playbook, suppressing dissent, favoring his Alawite sect, and centralizing power within his family. By 2006, Syria's problems deepened. A severe drought ravaged the nation, plunging millions into poverty. Farmers abandoned their lands, flooding cities in search of work, only to find none. Economic despair gripped the nation, and discontent simmered beneath the surface. By 2010, the Arab Spring, a wave of uprisings against autocratic regimes across the Arab world, ignited a sense of possibility among Syrians. In February 2011, in the northeastern Syrian town of Dara, 14-year-old Muawiyah Sayasin and his friends were growing up amidst this discontent. Inspired by the news of revolutions in Tunisia, Egypt, and Libya, they felt the first stirrings of rebellion. One day, armed with nothing more than chalk, Muawiyah wrote a single line on his school's wall: "It's your turn, doctor." This line referred to Bashar al-Assad, whose background as an ophthalmologist had earned him the nickname Doctor. Muawiyah's words were a bold, public challenge to the regime. When local authorities discovered the graffiti, they reacted with fury. Security forces arrested Muawiyah and his friends. The children were tortured mercilessly, their fingernails ripped out, electric shocks administered, and beatings inflicted. Despite the torture, the boys refused to confess who had written the line. When the news of the children's arrest spread, parents and townspeople gathered in peaceful protests, demanding their release. Instead of relenting, the regime doubled down. Officials reportedly mocked the parents, saying, "Forget your children and make new ones if you dare." This cruelty sparked outrage. What began as localized protests in Dara soon spread like wildfire across Syria. Fueled by decades of oppression, economic despair, and a yearning for freedom, thousands took to the streets, demanding democracy and an end to the Assad regime. Bashar al-Assad's response was swift and ruthless. Protesters were met with bullets, tanks, and mass arrests. Cities were bombarded, and dissent was labeled as terrorism. By mid-2011, the peaceful uprising had escalated into a full-blown civil war. In the years that followed, Syria descended into chaos. Entire neighborhoods were reduced to rubble. Millions fled their homes, creating one of the worst refugee crises in modern history. The image of 3-year-old Alan Kurdi's lifeless body on a Turkish beach became a global symbol of the tragedy unfolding in Syria. By 2023, Bashar al-Assad's grip on power was weakening. International sanctions, military losses, and a collapsing economy took their toll. Finally, in a move that stunned the world, Assad fled Damascus for Moscow, seeking refuge under Russian President Vladimir Putin's protection. After 2 decades in power, Assad's reign ended, leaving a country shattered but hopeful for a new beginning. Muawiyah Sayasin's defiant act, writing a single line on a school wall, may seem small, but it became the spark for a revolution. It showed the world that even the most oppressive regimes can be challenged, that the courage of ordinary people can change history. As Syria begins to rebuild, the story of that 14-year-old boy serves as a reminder. Even in the darkest times, the light of freedom can shine through. All it takes is one brave act. Sometimes, it begins with a whisper, a spark, or a single courageous act of defiance. That's it in this crime thriller episode. We'll be back soon with more such exciting crime stories. Until then, take care of yourself, stay healthy, and make sure to hit that subscribe button so you're ready for what's next. See you soon.